Welcome back, guys. Equity Podcast. Berek here. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the being a better coach, and are you a coach or a critic? And one of the things I wanted to talk about that's kind of related is overthinking. And a lot of this is coming from a book called Soundtracks by John Acuff. And when you hear soundtracks, think about being a better coach to yourself, being a critic to yourself. And what he means by soundtracks are the things that you're always telling yourself. When we are in the gym, we're constantly telling ourselves, I'm bad at wall balls, or I'm bad at this, or I don't look like that person, or whatever it is. And you're probably, a lot of people say the same things to themselves all the time. And it's like a soundtrack. Oh, I'm going to go through this soundtrack again. And the first step is being aware of those. And we've talked about that. Like, when are you a coach or a critic, right? We want to be that coach. So what I want to give you is some tactical stuff on how to be a better coach to yourself. And this is definitely from his book. So there's a concept of how identifying the soundtracks that you're saying. And when we hear that soundtrack, when we hear the thoughts that we're saying to ourselves, the words that we're saying to ourselves, we want to ask three questions. Is it helpful? Is it kind? And is it true? And when we say those, we want them all to be yes. And if they're not, then we want to go through this process of retire. So take that thing out, replace with something else, and then repeat that new one. All right, so let me go back. This is the tactile part. This is the actionable part. When you start hearing something in your head, when you are that critic or the coach, you're saying something in your head. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? Right? Those three things. What do we talk about in the gym all the time? Rule number one: don't be a dick. Are you being a dick to yourself right now? Is it kind? Is it true? Is it helpful? If it's not, we need to retire that soundtrack. We need to take it out of our head. We need to take it out of the soundtrack. But then we want to replace it with something else. We want to replace it with something that is true, kind, and helpful. And then we want to keep saying that, right? It's affirmations, right? And how you talk to yourself matters. A perfect example, we had a rowing workout before we left for vacation. I had rowing in it and something else. And wall balls, I think. I don't remember. And I didn't have a good workout, and every time I got on a rower, it got slower. And I just had no push. And I'm like, I'm far behind. I'm not doing what I wanted to. The pace wasn't there. Right? And none of it was overly negative, but it was not true, and it wasn't helpful. So then take that to yesterday when we did a workout with rowing in it, and that workout also didn't go well and how I wanted it to go. But this time I was able to I kept the pace on the row. I was able to keep up on the row. I didn't just shut down on the workout, and I actually got a good workout despite not performing how I wanted to on the crossovers. So I was able to keep that row at a pace that is relatively tough for me, even though, I was very frustrated in the workout, because I was like, okay, hey, I'm not gonna be amazing at crossovers every time. It's a new skill, and today just isn't one of those days. You know what I can do? I can put the effort into the rower. I can focus on that. And I got a much better workout, and I felt better at the end of it, right? At the end of that first workout with the row, like, it wasn't just a disappointing workout, and then afterwards I had that disappointment of being disappointment of not giving the effort that I could have. So, is it true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? Replace it, or retire it, replace it, repeat it. When we start talking to ourselves in a certain way, we're going to start doing things a different way. You're going to start acting different when you start telling yourself different things. I am a healthy person. When you start telling yourself that, you're going to start acting differently. You're going to start doing the things that a healthy person does. And we can take that to all aspects. So generally, I'm a little more I get a little more heady, but hopefully this is a little bit more tactic based that can really help you out. If you think this might help somebody else, share it with them. If you have, hey, if you want to share a tactic, share it with me. I'd be curious, and I'll share some of my soundtracks as well that I have a tendency to hear. I think one of the funnier, it's true, but it's not kind or helpful. Well, it's not kind, but like I'm a big strong man, insinuating that I'm not that. It's funny and it's a good joke, but is it helpful? Probably not. There's probably one that I need to take out. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Again, hopefully this helped, and invest in yourselves. Cheers.